Hello and welcome to this special edition of Contact Center Showcase, Lessons from the Lockdown. And our guest this morning is Roz Broome. Roz goes back in this industry, 25, almost 30 years, I would think. And we've worked professionally together many times during that time. In her role as Chief Operations Officer of CapabilityBPO based in Durban, Roz has been at the forefront of the transition from the historical in-house contact center into a remarkable transition in the COVID-19 era. Roz, thank you very much for joining us. And please, if you could just start off by describing Capability BPO pre-COVID. What was your operational norm 3-4 weeks ago?
Well, it was probably very traditional. It was definitely bricks and mortar. It was in a formal contact center operation. It was tightly managed and monitored, as we do within our industry. And we'd all considered this virtual agent, but we were not forced at any stage into going that route.
Right.
So we had
what scale of operations were you running in-house? And it was, if I remember correctly, an international client who you worked on.
Yes, it's an international client, and if we were running including 100, it was 197 of our agents, including support staff, 30 support staff. Mm-hmm. It's an international USA-based client. It is essential services for their industry. And it was important. We had a disaster recovery, business continuity plan in place, as one does. But I think your plan until COVID-19 was a reality, it had a very small component of how to deal with a pandemic. So that was the first thing we needed to do. We needed to investigate, look at the plans we would put in place in order to get the work from home element of our business into operation.
At what point did you start implementing that? Because this COVID crept up on us and probably early March.
Yes. So if we look at the announcement for the lockdown was, I think, 3 days before, it must have been about the 23rd of March, 22nd, 23rd of March. The week before that, we'd written the plan and we decided we'd start testing the work from home. So we asked for volunteers, agents that were happy to work from home. And we had what I'd describe as our little, we called it the Ghostbuster. We had a little IT team in a vehicle, and off they went. So they'd go to someone's home, they would set up the desktop, because one of the challenges that I don't think anyone had appreciated was that in the week or so before the lockdown, you were in the queue for a new laptop. So I think there were 973 people orders ahead of us for laptops. So we had to roll out desktops. And our roving IT guys went out, they set up in people's homes. And the feedback that we took from that, and where your creativity and your flexibility come in, is that we then realized just before the lockdown, the 4 or 5 days before lockdown, the scale, we couldn't send our guys in to all the areas that we needed to get to. So at that stage, we took a decision that we would make a video. First, we started with a little handbook, how to set up your PC at home. And that was another reality check. Our guys were experts in identifying glitches in our clients' apps. But your reality is within a call center, you've got your IT guys, if it doesn't work, they fix the CPU. They know where your mouse plugs in. So we were now taking people home, and that was a skill that was lacking.
You mentioned you made little videos and part of the training.
Yes. We started with a little booklet. We took each stage of setting up at home, and we photographed it, and we laminated these and gave everyone one of these to set up at home. But then we thought, oh, we can be even a little cleverer than this. And we did a little video. So that supported the guys. So the last week was hectic because the IT team were packaging, boxing. As people finished shifts, they took their equipment home with them. So the staff transport, we expanded that exponentially so that they could take the person plus the kit home.
Right. And
so that's where your creativity and flexibility comes in.
That was in the pre-lockdown, and now you're into full lockdown. And how did you transition that?
I think the other challenge that was around at that particular point in time was trying to find routers, because you needed a router. People aren't connected to Wi-Fi. That's your challenge. So we were swapping out, getting routers from Johannesburg, getting them here. They were configured for Johannesburg and not working in Durban. So our IT guys really did pull out all the stops. Then once you get everybody set up and working from home, a couple of interesting things started happening. The first was some of our metrics, like quality metrics, business affecting critical, actually improved. So I think when you're looking at that sort of thing and you look at it logically, it's probably the isolation, the person, there's no distraction of someone sitting next to them. There's no distractions of a team leader with his or her BDI on you. So we found a lot of improvements. The one that did decline initially was the adherence to schedule, but that really is behavior, and we managed to countermand that one and get that working perfectly.
So now,
and then data is the next challenge. The next challenge is data, because we keep needing to top up the data. So I have one of the credit cards for one of the mobile providers, and I just see the money going. It's a business card. It goes ping, 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 ping. So that's very interesting as the finance guys are paying for more data. So that's your biggest challenge, is the cost of data.
How are you finding the bandwidth and utilization in the work from home environment? Are you having any challenges there?
I think in the first week or 10 days there was there when the undersea cable went down. Mm-hmm. So one of the vendors did have a problem. So we did have dips. So we've had the occasional dip in an area, and we also get the occasional electricity outage in an area. So you've just got to compensate by having a few more people on each shift to compensate for those kinds of things that wouldn't happen in the office.
So we're 3 or 4 weeks or 3 weeks into the full lockdown now. Has the whole operation stabilized, maintaining service levels and deliverables to your client?
Absolutely. The client is delighted, because I think the first thing that happened was that we far exceeded our commitment to the client in terms of how many people we would be able to get to work from home. We actually got everyone on the floor working from home. So the client was overjoyed. And then probably what's the secret of success? I think once you have your people deployed, a very important thing is, how do you interact with them? Our team leaders have been amazing. But the second thing that our marketing department put into operation is a 21-day lockdown. I know that's expanded a bit. Every morning, one of our call center agents, who is fabulous, she does a DJ kind of voice recording, which is a motivational talk that happens every single day. She has a beautiful voice and a passion for motivating people. And each message each day is different. And then we have a WhatsApp group where everyone gets a branded message. So we have a 21-day lockdown branding. And then every afternoon, someone from the management team does something. Sometimes it's just a video. Mark is really good, our CEO, at doing his favorite Zulu dance. So he does that. We've had our QA team all dance from their various homes in sync to a particular piece of music. Everybody has been so creative, and that's how we've kept the team together.
Well, that's really exciting stuff. And then I'm led to believe that, in fact, you're expanding the operation during lockdown. Are you able to expand on that?
Yes, we started negotiating just over a week ago, 10 days ago, with a potential new client, also US-based, also essential services into the US market, and they needed a quick ramp. So we deployed last night, in fact, work from home, 50 agents and 3 team leaders working from home and the ops manager for this new client. It went very well. They're doing chat and email. So that was set up, and we were all up half the night, making sure that everything went smoothly. And we've got a weekly rollout over the next 8 weeks for this client. And
what sort of volume in terms of seats are you looking at over the range?
We're looking at a total of 350 seats.
That's a remarkable achievement. Just out of interest, how do you manage training in a remote environment?
Exactly what you and I are doing now. We Zoom train. Our new client for 3 days was doing training out of the States, and they were training us and some of our international partners, 100 people at one time. So it's Zoom based, and it's worked very, very well for us.
Roz, we're coming up for wrap up on this now, but I know it's very difficult to foresee the future, but how do you envisage the post-COVID move forward as an industry, as a BPO industry, the ratio of work from home, or do you envisage it going back into bricks and mortar? I know it's a very
absolutely. There's going to be a mixture. Our business will change, absolutely. And it's South Africa has been traditionally, if I can't see it, I can't manage it. But in fact, the systems that are in place manage it for you. You've got visibility. So we definitely going forward, it will be on our campaigns. It will be a mixture of work from home and bricks and mortar. You maybe kind of morph it out. It becomes a privilege to work from home. So you start people in the bricks and mortar, and when you've got them making the KPIs and consistent in their service delivery, there is the option if you would like to work from home.
Excellent. And lastly, any special messages to the industry at large? You know, the contact center industry across the board is taking strain. What message would you put out to them?
I have to say that the most cohesion that we've ever had is probably now. If you look at what BPSA has done, the communications, the groups, the lobbying, the getting the call center industry recognized and top of mind. As you know, KZN seemed to have some very preconceived ideas that call center industry shouldn't be working during this lockdown period. So hopefully through the intervention of BPSA, that will be in the past. So guys, all I can say is keep going, keep going. We've done a wonderful job so far. And isn't it fantastic that we could keep an operation going and that these changes have been possible?
Well, it's great to hear that, and I thank you for your enthusiastic participation in this knowledge sharing exercise. So thank you very much, Roz Broome.